Hey friends, my name is Tara Furman. Welcome back to my channel. On this channel, I want you to have the best marriage that you can possibly have. I want for you as a husband and a wife that if you have kids, after your kids leave the house, I want you to still have just a magical relationship with each other. I want you to look forward to spending time together. I want you to have a special, special bond. But those kinds of relationships don't just happen. And in fact, there's a lot of work that goes into relationships like that. They're very, sometimes sadly, kind of far and few between in the culture we're living in. But in this video, I want to share with you 7 things that may be hindering you from having the relationship with your husband that you really want to have. 7 things that are very common in the world that we're living in, but 7 things that are hindering you from experiencing the best in your marriage. So let's start with number 1. Number 1, the very first thing that you should stop doing immediately. And before I even tell you what that number 1 thing is, let's just pretend that we are 2 girls in a coffee shop just having a little chat. 2 friends just sitting here having a chat. Even though we are worlds away, I tell you these things as your friend, okay? And you might not be doing some of these things, but you might have friends that are. And if you are, then you can share this information with her because it will help her marriage. Okay, let's get started. Number 1, the very first thing that you should stop doing immediately is depriving him sexually. Yep, depriving him sexually. We live in a culture that tells us that that we as women, that we call all the shots, even those shots. But also, are we also not fully aware that pornography is ruling and reigning in this country? And if you and I want to keep our husband's attention on us, we're going to have to be intentional. Listen to what the Bible says. The Bible predicted this, that this would happen. This is 1 Corinthians 7. It says in 1 Corinthians 7 verse 5, "Do not deprive each other, except by mutual consent and for a time, so that you may devote yourselves to prayer. Then come together again so that Satan will not tempt you because of your lack of self-control." And so even God was calling it in the scriptures when he was saying that a woman, that her body belongs to her husband and his body belongs to her. Do not deprive one another. And so friends, if we are depriving our husbands, then we are opening the door for him to be tempted in other directions. And that is not good. You do not want that. And so immediately stop depriving him. Okay, number 2, the number 2 thing. This might seem really kind of shallow, but I see it everywhere. And I swear these men look like lost puppies. The second thing is stop making him go shopping with you. I mean, unless he just loves to shop. But I don't know too many men. I do know a few men that like to shop. But I must say that is very rare that a man likes to shop. Very, very, very rare that a man likes to shop. So if you are married to one of those men and he does not like to shop, do not force him to go shopping with you. It is so cringy and uncomfortable, especially when you were in the lingerie department or in a lingerie store, which by the way, you should be wearing that stuff, but that's a whole other video. But when I am in a lingerie store, the last thing that I want to see is a man over my shoulder looking around. That's creepy. So just for the sake of a girlfriend out there and other girls out there that feel the same way, stop. Just stop. Don't do that. Okay, number 3. The third thing that we need to stop doing if we want a strong relationship and if we want to take away the things that hinder us from having a really strong relationship and marriage with our husband, the next thing is to stop nagging him. Do you do that? Are you not even sure if you do that? Pay attention to what's coming out of your mouth. If your husband is not doing something that you want him to do, I used to nag him. I used to nag him to go to church. I used to nag my husband to go to Bible study. And in fact, I nagged him so much to go to Bible study. This was like in the mid-90s when we first got married. he decided to enroll in graduate school so that he would not have to go to Bible study because he was sick of hearing me nag him. I learned over the years through wise counsel that instead of nagging him, it is far more effective to pray for him. And so now, instead of nagging him to do something that I really want him to do, I pray for him. I also talk to him. Like, I pick an opportune time, a time that it's a good time for him, that he's willing to kind of receive what I'm going to share with him. And I'll just say, look, this is important to me. Would you mind? It's all in presentation, friend. It's all in presentation. And after you've put it out there and you've told him how important something is to you and he's still not doing it, just pray for him, because God can move mountains that you and I can never move. So stop nagging him. Okay, number 4, what's the 4th thing that we should stop doing immediately? And that is, stop making your husband do things that he does not want to do. I used to, I don't know about you, but my husband and I have 2 separate groups of friends, right? He has his group of friends, I have my group of friends. And I know the kinds of things with my friend group that, my husband probably is not going to want to do. And on the flip side, he does the same thing. He knows the things that I'm probably not going to want to do with his friends. And so he doesn't ask me and he doesn't force me. Sometimes he'll say, such and such is doing this. Do you want to go, or what do you think? And I give him my honest opinion, and he never forces me to do something I don't want to do. But we should do the same for him. This past year, I really wanted to go somewhere. It was actually in Washington, D.C. in January. I wanted to go, and a group of my friends and their spouses were going, and I never thought that he would want to go. And so, but I prayed and I was like, Lord, open his heart to be willing to go. And when I presented it to him one night over dinner, to my surprise, he said, I think that'd be kind of fun. Let's do it. And so before I knew it, we were going and we had a great time. But years before, if I would have brought this up and he would have said no, I just needed to leave it right where it is, because that is showing him respect. Which leads me into number 5, disrespecting him. Stop disrespecting him. There are multitudes of ways that we show respect to our husband, and there are multitudes of ways that we disrespect our husbands. Making him do something that he doesn't want to do is disrespectful. Putting him down in front of others is very disrespectful. Honestly, it's emasculating. And so I want to encourage you, watch what's coming out of your mouth. Watch your tone of voice. Our tone of voice can be disrespectful. And especially if you've got young kids, you're used to talking to your kids like their mother, right? But let me tell you something. Your husband doesn't want to be married to his mama. So don't be treating him like he's your son. We can't do that. That's very disrespectful. And so be aware of your tone of voice, the things you're saying, and the things that you're doing, because men want to be respected. In fact, they want to be respected more than just about anything. And when we are disrespectful to them, it is emasculating. Okay, what's number 6? Number 6 is bossing him around, which is another way that we disrespect him. Bossing him around. Friend, stop bossing him around. He's probably got a boss at work. He's got a mama, and he loves that mama. He does not want his wife to be his boss. And so we are his equal. And so we speak respectfully to him, and we don't boss him around. Number 7, and this is the last thing, but I'm telling you, there could probably be a list of more things that I could probably do another video with. But the last thing is, and y'all, women are the worst at this, stop having to have the last word. Yep, the last word. It's hard not to have the last word, right? In fact, this very weekend, my husband said, you just have to have the last word, don't you? And I was like, am I doing that? I'm sorry. And I just started busting out laughing. I was like, okay, you're right, I am. Y'all, it's a work in progress. So be aware. After you have told your husband how you feel about something, after you whatever it is that you want to talk to him about, and maybe the tension is kind of high, and maybe you're kind of, I don't know, not really liking each other at the moment very much, don't have to have the last word. And can I tell you that if your husband is walking out of the room and you are having to have the last word and you think that he doesn't say anything else and you think, yes, I won that. Let me tell you something, girl. You might have won the little battle, but you have lost the war, because men typically are not confrontational and they will walk away. They will say what they want to say, but then they will walk away. And if your man is walking away with you without you really feeling like you got a whole other subject then. You've got a whole other situation. And so that's when you have to circle back to, was I just disrespectful in the way I treated him? I mean, that's where we have to go to. And so friends, these are 7 little things that we are doing that can be hindering our relationship. And so stop doing these things, and I guarantee you it will change the atmosphere in your home and the sweetness of your marriage. I'll see you next time.